Good evening. Welcome to day 25 of my personal self-improvement challenge. Sorry that it's so late at night. I guess it doesn't really matter because you can see it later. But anyway, today I'm giving up frivolous spending. So this is probably something that anyone should do when they're trying to adult. This is something I definitely could have done a long time ago, but I haven't really started making money until like the last couple of years anyway. But yeah, frivolous spending. Obviously, it can be very disempowering. It sucks to not have money for the things that you really want, or to have like a good chunk set aside for when opportunity strikes. It's a bit of a distraction, and of course it's another one of those instant gratification, dopamine hit things. So I never really thought about it too much, but I always thought it was the thing that you buy that's giving you that instant gratification. But actually, there is shopaholicism is a real thing, and that ability to buy something and that cha-ching is something that is a form of instant gratification, and it probably plays into that hunter-gatherer primal instinct stuff, which is why it rewards the dopamine system in the first place. So that's why I'm cutting it out, and mostly just because it's I recognize over the years how much kind of slips by, and it's like, oh, I paid for the convenience of that, or I paid for not being more thrifty. So as I move out of addiction and into self-activation, I want to be able to have a solid financial situation for whatever comes next. So that's why I'm doing that. I mean, most of the times when I spend money frivolously, it's on food or entertainment. And I mean, today I was just at the pool before dance, and I got out of the pool, and I was a little hungry and thirsty. I looked at the vending machines. There was literally nothing in there I could eat or drink because I gave up sugar and processed stuff. So it was another bottle of water, which actually felt really good to drink at dance class. So that was good. So yeah, that thing about having a cooler in my car or something like that, so I can have like access to good food and not have to worry about that. It's going to really cut down. Those people who bring food on them on the ferry with them instead of going to the cafe. So yeah, and getting and entertainment. There's a lot of other cheaper, more this dance class that I'm going to, this 5 rhythms thing. Today I just dropped a bunch of money on five classes because it's a little cheaper, and that feels good. I know that my money is going to something really useful. I went to a men's circle last night, and well, I'm kind of going backwards. Anyway, I'd much rather spend my money on books and tools, craft things, art supplies, good activities, and practice being really frugal and thrifty. Buying things in bulk, going to thrift stores for clothes, that kind of thing. And I used to do a lot of that pretty good. So yeah, actually I want to just talk about last night. Last night I went to a men's circle. It was a really solid thing. I was looking for more intentional things, and I sure got it. They're really intentional, solid group of people, and while I can't divulge what happens in there, I can talk from a personal experience for what happened for me. So there was a point where they ask if you can have, is there any place in your life where you need accountability? And so I said, yeah, I can't help the swearing. I'm trying to cut it out. I can't really seem to help that. But the speeding, I have been speeding after I gave it up, and I could probably do something a little more solid about that. So I made a promise to the group that I wouldn't speed until the next week when I saw them again. And so I've been driving slow all day today, and I hate it. I think when this week is up and I'm done the 30 challenge, I think I'm gonna go back to speeding, because I'm not gonna race around and be violent with my car, but going the speed limit is absolutely asinine. Anyway. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. Yeah, and just a bit of a check-in. You know, how it's been going for me in general. Just, it's been, you know, tobacco, alcohol, pot, and coffee were at the very front of my challenge. Netflix and Facebook and YouTube, and swearing's in there, and speeding and sloth, porn, masturbation, useless knowledge, neglect, entertainment, sugar, salt, artificial flavorings and stuff like that, sleeping in late, comfort, video games, screens, useless chatter, and today's frivolous spending. So I can say that the drug vices and things like that have been pretty easy to let go of. You know, there's times when I want to be able to go and do the social thing of going to a pub after work or something like that and having a drink or whatever, but it's the social thing that I miss there. I feel with the food restrictions, I feel the food restrictions more just regular going to do anything. There's going to be not as many options. The masturbation, the seed retention, that's a really interesting one. I think I'm getting a lot of energy from that. A lot of energy, and that's a really interesting thing I've never paid attention to before, and I'm gonna just keep researching it and seeing how it goes. But so far that one's been really good. I'm feeling like a completely different person in a lot of ways. But yeah, the sugar, that's a hard one too. So there's some of these are really challenging, but I'm feeling really clear and really centered and really grounded. Like I'm getting stronger. I'm doing a lot of push-ups, a lot of chin-ups, eating like healthier food. I've also started eating, not really having a breakfast and having a lighter lunch, and then around 2 o'clock or after work starting to have like heavier meals, and then like a little nightcap of like a protein powder or something before bed. And that's doing really well. Brushing my teeth every day, flossing, using a little horse tail on the yellow parts, and it's cleaning up real nice. So that's all pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna replace frivolous spending with financial records, financial planning. So getting an Excel sheet. My friend Alan years ago set me up with a whole like how to do it on the computer, and he'll probably never do it again for me. But that was something I never used, and I'm ready for it. I want an Excel sheet. I want to like budget and plan and see what my finances are going to, and be able to get books and do those activities that I want to do. So the only other check-in is, okay, good with the vices, this is the daily thing, but what's going on deeper for me is, like I say, I've been close to tears. There's a lot of emotional stuff coming up. There's a lot of my choices, the regrets, or having the choices that I made, in my 20s, which was like I was very idealistic. I didn't work jobs. I didn't work towards a career because I didn't like the education system, the medical system. I didn't like the justice system. All these different systems, I didn't like them, and so I just didn't become a teacher when I could have been, or a doctor, which I would have liked. I would have liked to have done all those things, or picked one, and I rejected the whole system, so I really limited what I was able to do with my 20s. So I'm kind of trying to salvage my experiences and make something useful of them, and move forward in a constructive way in my life. And I've been reading this book. I'm still reading this book. This book's amazing, Way of the Superior Man. And there's a chapter in there that talks about, compares a man's relationship to the world is how he relates to women. And there's some patterns in there that they bring up that I'm like, ooh, that's a good one, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. And one of them is if you lose interest in a woman and move on to someone else, or if you do that with your career, if you don't really get past a certain point and you just pick up another career, and both of those patterns I've exhibited, it's the traits of a mediocre person, of a mediocre man, that you're supposed to really push yourself through and continue to love and stay open to a woman you're having difficulty with, or the world you're having difficulty with. And that's what I'm recognizing as part of my problem, is while conspiracy theories may be true, while the system may be corrupt, if I use that if I let that shut me down, then I'll go into depression and I'll eventually die. I'll spiral downward and it's no good. That I have to accept the world as it is, and I have to walk through it boldly. And that's kind of surfacing for me. It's really kind of getting down to the time where I'm going to have to start living a little more fearlessly and put up fights, in stand in my integrity and not be antagonistic to everyone like I was on Facebook years ago or more recently. But to actually stand for something and take on whatever comes and not fight it. You know, I hated bureaucracy because, you know, one person could just, on a board, could just drive you insane, and why would I put up with that kind of stuff? And it's like, well, you got to believe in the purpose. If the board is dealing with something that's important to me, then I need to stick it through. So, yeah, choosing not to be addicted and distracted, or obsessed. That's the other thing they say. A man is usually either distracted by a woman or the world, or he's obsessed with a woman or the world. And it's much better to just be free and experience them as deeply as you can until you experience them so deeply that you're not just experiencing them, you're experiencing the feminine, or the spirituality behind the energy that they bring. And I think that I'm ready to do that. I think that with books like this, I'll feel a little more prepared, and I have a deeper understanding of what, you know, this life is about. So yeah, that's a weird check-in. But today, day 25, we're getting near the end, and yeah, frivolous spending. Gonna let that go. Gonna start a budget. And going to start goal setting along with that, financial goals, and start meeting them. So, yeah, that's day 25 for me. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.